Hello student, myself Nikita Gupta. I am here to teach you biology of class 12th. Before starting, let me brief you about my video. In this particular video, I am going to brief you about a little bit introductory knowledge about the unit reproduction involving chapters and what I am going to teach you in this video. Now, we are starting it with a new unit, which is a unit of reproduction. In this particular unit, we have 4 chapters. That means that whole unit is divided into 4 chapters. The first chapter is about reproduction in organism. In this chapter, I am going to deliver you a basic knowledge about the process reproduction, its type, and how it is taking place in different organisms. In this second chapter, sexual reproduction in flowering plant, as the name is sufficient, that means we are going to detail study about the flowering plant. Third is about human reproduction, and the fourth is reproductive health. Without wasting any more time, let us start with our first chapter and first topic. Our first chapter is reproduction in organism. Firstly, we have to understand what is the reproduction process. So, reproduction is a process in which any living organism is producing their offspring is of their own kind. Again, I am repeating my definition. Reproduction is a process of any living organism which is producing their offspring is of their own kind, which you have already discussed in your previous classes. Before reproduction and its type, we need to know about there is a time period between birth and death. Yeah, that means that every organism which is coming on this earth, that process is known as birth. Very clear. And every organism who is finishing their particular time period of living is reaching to the death. But what that particular time period is known as between birth to death, and that is known as the lifespan. Yeah, student, that is clear. That is a time period between birth to death is known as lifespan. And every living organism, as we know, that diversity is there. So that every living organism is having different lifespan. We can discuss it like having example of mayfly. Mayfly is the example or is the organism who is having only 24 hours of life cycle. But we have the largest one also. The tortoise has near about 150 to 250 years of life cycle. In case of plants, if we are discussing banyan tree, eucalyptus tree, they have a lifespan of near about 250 to 350. If we can further discuss in case of birds, the parrots are having the longest lifespan, that is near about 140 years. In your book of NCERT, they are having a worksheet in which you can easily find out that how many different organisms are there and what lifespan they are sharing. Now, very important question. That means that any individual life is having only 2 events, like birth and death. But we are discussing about the reproduction unit. Means there is something height. Yes, in between birth and death, there is still some events which we have to understand. There are 3 basic events. The first one is known as the time period in which every individual is growing after its birth, and that particular phase is known as juvenile phase. In this particular phase, every individual is growing in its size, shape, even the cells are getting matured, they are converting their self to get involved in sexual reproduction process or reproductively mature. And when these cells are getting matured enough to participate in reproduction process, now that second phase is coming, that is known as your reproductive phase. In this particular phase, every individual is capable enough to participate in reproduction process. Yes, that has to be noted very importantly, that every individual has to attain reproductive maturity, then only that individual will participate in reproduction process. Now the question is that after attaining reproductive maturity, that has and every individual has ability to reproduce lifetime. The answer is no. Why? Because after achieving reproductive maturity, that has a certain time period in which that individual will participate in that reproduction process. After some times, that is going to be stopped, and that time period is known as aging. But that is not the death. In that particular time period, that every individual has not ability to participate in reproduction, but that is living. That particular phase is known as aging. In case of animals, it is known as aging. In case of plants, it is known as senescent. After this senescent and aging, that stage is coming, that is known as your death. That means every individual life is going to be end. Now, we are discussing about the types of reproduction. As you all are knowing with your previous knowledge, I am taking this because we are discussing class 12th biology. So I am accepting that thing that you people are must aware about the basic types of reproduction. So I am going to take one by one. That there are two types of reproduction process: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Everyone is knowing there is a point differences between asexual and sexual reproduction. In that video, I am going to difference 5 particular points differentiating between asexual and sexual, and that I am going to ask you in my second video. Now, asexual reproduction. Only one organism reproduces. Asexual. In case of sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. This is a very important point which you have to remember. In case of asexual, only one organism or one individual will participate. In case of sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. That is first point. Second thing, in case of asexual reproduction, there is no fusion of gametes taking place. I am repeating, there is no fusion of gamete takes place, or even you can write no formation of gametes take place. But fusion of gamete is very important because gametes can be produced. The cells which are participating in reproduction, they are known as gametes. The cells which are participating in reproduction are known as gametes. So you have to remember no fusion of gametes involved in this particular phase. But in case of sexual reproduction, if we are talking, there is a formation of gametes takes place and even fusion of gametes also. When the fusion of gametes take place, then only zygote is going to be formed. So that is the second point. Third point, asexual reproduction. Only mitotic division takes place. Only mitotic division takes place. Everyone is knowing that mitotic division is the process in which equivalent division takes place. So in this equitational division, as we know that all the cells are totally identical to their parents' cells morphologically and even genetically. So that means they are forming clones. That yes, that is very important point. In case of asexual reproduction, all the cells which are formed after mitotic divisions, they can be also known as clone. But in case of sexual reproduction, if you are talking mitosis, even meiosis, both the type of cell division is required, because meiosis is the major process in that. Because of that only gametogenesis is taking place in case of sexual reproduction. So recombination and variation has been observed, which is not has been observed in case of asexual reproduction. So point number 4 is that in that asexual reproduction, clone formation takes place, but in case of sexual reproduction, there is a no clone formation. But asexual reproduction is not showing any recombination and variation. But in case of sexual reproduction, due to meiosis takes place, they are showing recombination and variation. Hopefully, you people have got what you are searching in my video. Thank you for watching my video, and hopefully meet you in next video. Thank you, and keep learning bio because it's your life.